Hey up, God. I felt a bit rough this morning. Went out for a drink with an old mate of mine last night and enjoyed myself. But I don't really drink anymore. Um, so this morning I was absolutely hanging, and struggling. Right hangover. It's shocked its system, innit? Um, and speaking of hangovers, the one or two Wednesday lads looked like they were struggling with hangovers with where we defended today. And it's been frustrating because I thought it was a decent performance, to be honest with you. Overall, I wouldn't have said it was a 3-1 game, but gifts. No, anyway, let's get into the teams. So Preston with a 3-5-2, Woodman in goal, a back three of Story, Watmore and Hughes, Bowler, Thorderson, McCann and Kessler, Hayden in midfield, Keane floating around and Reese and Greenwood up front. As for Wednesday, a couple of changes, Beadle in goal, a back three of Valerie, Iorford and Lowe, Valentin and Johnson the wing backs, Chalabar sat in that anchor position in front of the back three with Charles and Bannon ahead of him, and a front two of Windass and Smith. Really bright start from Wednesday actually, getting forward, getting at him. Smithy had like a sort of half chance, sort of with an half tackle, half toe that sort of went off at bar, and Windass dragged a little shot wide, and I was really pleased because I thought we let ourselves down a bit against Preston at home. I didn't think we gave a really good account of ourselves, and I was really desperate for us to get there and get a result. Because I find them a bit of a niggly, annoying team actually, Preston, in this guise. So I wanted us to go in there and put a performance on, and I thought we did. I thought we started really well. Thought we were moving ball around, getting into some decent areas at pitch. And then the first sort of thing that knocked that off kilter, with bloody linesman going off. He pulled his calf. I thought that did Preston a little bit of a favour. I thought it'd give them a chance to regroup, because I thought Wednesday sort of caught them on up, if I'm honest, that first 5-10 minutes or so. And using ball well, I was really pleased with where we started the game. And I was just desperate. I thought, we can keep this up and actually take a lead for once, which weren't beyond realms of possibility. That just gives us something to look after, like we did other week with 2-0. When you've got a goal to defend, it, like I said, it gets them levels up, gets energy up a bit more in your back line. But as I said, that liner going off, I think did affect Wednesday. Give Preston a chance to sort of refocus themselves a little bit. But even then, after replacement, liner had to be substituted. But even after that, I thought it looked okay. We got a three in midfield, and Bannon and Charles, I thought, was starting to dominate the ball, really. Dominate possession at ball, getting things going. They both had good games then. And like I said, we probably created best opportunities in first sort of 15-20 minutes or so. Which is why it's so frustrating that we then go a goal down from looking really comfortable. We did look comfortable. We didn't really look threatened at all. I didn't think at that stage. And it's a goal where opposition hadn't had to work, and that's where it's frustrating. Lad comes inside off at left. There's no real pressure on him. He puts a deep in-swinging delivery to back post. It gets headed back into the middle. I mean, it's a free header. I think it's Marv who, don't really go up for it. Their lad sort of uses him as a step ladder and nods it back in. And then the lad Reese is there in the middle, he taps it home in, and he's in 6-yard box. There's two lads in there, and he taps it home unmarked. It's, no pressure on ball, no challenge on header, completely unmarked in 6-yard box. I mean, it's like a triple whammy of bad defending, and it's really frustrating because, like I said, up to that point, I genuinely thought Wednesday had been better side. Thought we'd got a level of control on game, looked comfortable, and I was genuinely thinking, it's only a matter of time before we nick a goal, and then that happens, and then you're chasing again. I mean, Wednesday had a couple of chances after their goal, actually. Charles had a shot which he sort of blazed. It was some really good build-up play with Bannon and Windass, and Johnson put a ball in, and Baz managed to get it back out to Charles. That sort of went over. Valentin made a fantastic run down outside, put afterburners on, got past his man, put across it, and that Hughes made a really good, sort of block, put it out for a corner. So Wednesday weren't rocked too much by the goal, daft as it sounds. It's just that frustrating thing of having to chase game again. And where it's frustrating is Preston are like a dogged side. They defend, they'll head, they'll tackle, they block. Story in there and Hughes. And what it sort of did when they got the goal, it allowed them to sort of play on counter a little bit, which I thought suited them, rather than them having to come out and have a go at us. So the first goal's always big in a game, and I was just really frustrated with manner that we've gone behind. Because like I said, I thought we looked really comfortable. I really did. Wednesday made a change at half time. Chalabar came off, Gassama came on. Now, I know we're chasing game. I was a little bit surprised with that, I've got to be honest with you, because as I said, other than their goal, and that Greenwood had a shot at sort of end at first half, I didn't really feel Wednesday were under that much pressure. I thought Preston, they just looked happy to shuttle about and, trying it as with the deep crosses to back stick, them in swinging crosses to back stick. But I thought that midfield three with Chalabar, Bannon and Charles in there, I thought that were really working for us. I thought we'd controlled midfield in first half, if I'm perfectly honest with you. And whilst Chalabar himself, I wouldn't say he had a fantastic game, probably a 6 out of 10. Having him in there as that sort of fulcrum in there, it had allowed Charles and Bannon to get on an attack, and they were doing some really good stuff going forward. And I thought them two, in an attacking sense, in first half, I thought they were probably two of the best players on pitch for both teams. A level of control, moving ball really well, and I thought it's only a matter of time, really, before we do create an opportunity. So a little bit surprised when Chalabar came off. And I know Gassama is an attacking player, he's got pace, but a goal down, so we'll be wanting to get back in game. But we'd got 45 minutes to get back in game, and I don't think it had... Danny's a professional manager who knows what he's doing, and he's surrounded with, staff who know what they're doing. And I'm just a bloke sat in his kitchen. But I'd have probably left it 10 minutes before making a change there. Like I said, them three, I thought they'd got a control at midfield. And I've got to be honest with you. Although we brought a goal back and levelled it with a wonderful strike from Windass, I do feel that we seeded the midfield when we made that change. And I think one of the negative effects for that was it created a little bit of a space, and that Greenwood were dropping off their front then and dropping into little spaces, and I think second half caused us all sorts of bollocks. And I sort of feel like that was a little bit self-inflicted with that change. Now, I don't know. Chalabar's not played a lot of football. Maybe got a tweak, Maybe he's been suffering with his flu and all, and maybe he had to come off with that. So it might not necessarily have just been tactical. There may have been other factors, but I was surprised with it, and I thought it did probably concede us a little bit at midfield after break. I mean, Wednesday do level, and Gassama's actually involved. You know, comes up left hand side, little ball into Windass, who really good little sharp turn, has a look, and you can see he's only got one thing in his mind. Nudges it out, gets it out from under his feet, wraps his foot round it. It's a fantastic finish. You know, keeper's got absolutely no chance with that. Hard, low, really accurate, brilliant strike, absolutely fantastic strike. In a way, it frustrated me because I thought he's had to score a brilliant goal there, you know. But the opposition's goal, they've not had to work for theirs. He's had to really, you know, pull some out of the bag a bit of that, and we were absolute quality that goal. But he's had to pull that absolute quality out to get us back in game, because opposition teams they don't gift you chances, do they? They don't gift you easy goals and, you know, tap-ins like that. I mean, that Reece goal in first half has really, really annoyed me. Maybe it's my hangover as well. Right annoyed me. But yeah, we've clawed back into the game. Fantastic strike from Windass. And from there on in, I'm thinking, well, can we go on and get a second? And again, we concede, and it's self-inflicted. Their lads had a really good strike. I think it was at Greenwood again, actually. You know, like I said, second half he's had far too much freedom. Just dropping in where he wants. We're clearing lines from it. Gassama gets ball, you know, so he's come on and he's put a ball in for Windass, we've scored, and then he's beat two men, I think it's third man, and he overruns ball and gives it away in our last third, and it's really frustrating. Their lad bursts forward. Iofa comes across. I don't think he has to make tackle. Lowe's on the other side of him, on the inside of him. So as he's coming across with their lad, I'm just thinking, their lad's not going to outrun Dominic Iofa. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to outrun him. But just get around him a little bit with your pace and just take him away, take him towards corner flag. Lowe's in here, taking that if he turns back in. Push him out that way, and I think there's somebody else coming out there as well. Push him into a crowd, push him into numbers or so. But anyway, I think it's a really soft penalty. Let me say that, by the way. A really soft penalty. I was like, lucky hell, ref. But if you make a challenge in the box, coming in from that sort of angle, they look bad. They look worse than they are. And it goes back to the thing we say all the time. Don't give referees a decision to make. And I'm afraid he's giving him a decision to make there. Greenwood steps up. Is it a good penalty or a bad penalty? I don't know. It's, you know, Beadle goes wrong way, so it doesn't matter if it's a good penalty or a bad penalty. You know what I mean? It's this is what we were on about last week. There's a little bit of luck involved, isn't there, when you're taking a penalty? But we're 2-1 down. We'd played really ever so well in first half and gifted them a goal. Second half's more open. You know, they're starting to create opportunities now on regular. But we've clawed our way back in with a fantastic strike. And then again, it's another gift. It's another gift. It's really frustrating. But that's where we are at the minute. Ugbo comes on for Smith. He's not had a brilliant game, Smith. One of them games, everything seems to be bouncing off him a bit. What I call a lamppost game. Ugbo's come on, involved straight away, actually. Really good little bit of hold-up play. A ball inside for Windass. He's sort of one on what should he bury it? I think he'll be disappointed in hit target, but I think you've got to give credit to Woodman. He comes out, makes himself big, and he don't go to ground. You know, often keepers will go flying down. Stays up, he does make himself big. You know, the old cliche, and it ends up being a decent save there. And again, that sort of thing where I feel like, if that's Wednesday, keeper makes a save and rebound probably drops to their lad for a tap-in. We don't seem to get them little breaks. But like I said, that Greenwood, he's at an absolute spanker of a shot. Beadle's made a really good save from that. And I just got an audible feeling they were going to get another one, because as much as we were playing well and having plenty of ball, because I don't think Preston are a great side, and we did have opportunities, he were just growing and growing into the game. I mean, Windass had another shot. Again, he's having to create stuff, really quick feet. Opened his body up, killed his foot around it. Woodman made a good save again. There was a run by Gassama down right hand side, got into box, and I think it were Valerie that put it in, and their 21s made a really, number 21 made a really good block. That story, I can't remember. And that's what they did. They're a dogged defensive side, and their back three are all about defending. And they look like they enjoy defending. And I think you've got to head, tackle, block. That Hughes has had a proper set and half game, and like him and Story and other muck and nettles defending, and that goes a long way in this division. It really does. And I'm frustrated because we've conceded 6 goals this week, and I'm trying to think how many of them have the opposition actually proper had to work hard for. How many of them 6 goals we've conceded have they had to do something brilliant? 1 out of 6. I mean, 5 of them, I think we've been really sloppy, which is frustrating, but what can you do? Bernard suspended. Don't know what's up with Heckway. I know he's been poorly. We weren't really getting much of a look before that. Too easy. It's too easy for opposition. Wednesday, Chuck changes at it then. I didn't know what was happening. I'll be honest with you, I did not know what was happening. Iorfa had gone off, Valerie had gone off, Ingleson came on, McNeil come on. There were folks all over the place. It was like chaos theory. Now, everybody on. I mean, O'Neill seemed to pop up in a sort of wide left position. Ingleson sort of ends up at wing back for a spell. Got Johnson and Lowe at back. It just looked a mess, if I'm honest with you. And then they scored a goal, and it's at Reese again. And again, he's not had to work for it. Greenwood gets into space, which, as I said, he had tons of in the second half, tons of space. Part of it, like I said, I think losing Chalobah left a gap. But secondly, we just showed him too much respect, really. He had a field day. He smashed a blistering shot in. Beadle did well initially, made a really good save. Reese is in on rebound. And another decent save, Beadle. There were part of me at the time, I thought, could he have held that? But, when you're facing shots from 2 yards out again. And then, second rebound, he gets prodded home again. There's 2 Wednesday players around him, and he still manages to tow it off at line. He must love playing against Wednesday, that Reese. Honestly, because he don't have to do it, does he? He can just stand in 6-yard box. I'll have dink, dink, dink. He must love playing us. The gifts it's right annoying. And but what can you do? You know, Bernard suspended, Heckley's been badly. Vermeil's injured. I mean, Iorfa's gone off today. I don't know what's up with him. I mean, he's struggled a lot with injuries the last few years anyway. But I don't even know. Maybe he's got a bit of flu and all. There were a few other lads where Marv looked really, really tired today. But then he's 34 years old and he's having to do 90 minutes every week. You know, and in the summer, obviously Lowe come in, and I think the idea were, you know, a bit of competition, him and Marv vying for that left wing back spot. Or even perhaps, you know, we are back four with Lowe at left back and perhaps Johnson on wing in front of him, maybe playing pair of them in tandem. Not really had opportunity to do that because of all injuries at centre half. Lowe's had to play in there. And done okay actually, let's be fair. I think he's done quite well in there, Lowe, at centre half. But I mentioned it in summer when we were talking about signing Ugbo. Because as fans of clubs, we all want a 20-goal-a-year striker, you know, and Ugbo did well last season. I think there were probably a line of thought, we thought, God, he could be the one, he could be the first 20 goals a year man. But some of you who watch this channel will know at the time, I was banging on, I just wanted us to get another couple of centre-halves in. Obviously, Bambo went, and we just looked short back there. I think it's quite obvious at the beginning that Danny probably don't really fancy Michael Heckley that much for this spot. So we really needed strengthening in there, and as soon as Bernard's out, it looks a worry back there. It really looks a worry back there. I mean, the performance today, overall, honestly, I don't think it's a bad performance. I don't think it's a bad performance. I thought we played quite well. I thought Bannon and Charles have been brilliant. I thought they were even better when they got Chalobah behind them at first half, but that's just my personal opinion. But it's gifts, and it's gifts, and it's poor defence. It's these self-inflicted wounds in these games, and you can't. The comebacks have been fantastic this season, and we've had more comeback points than any other team, which is brilliant. But you can't do that over an entire season. You can't keep having to come back and come back and come back. And as I said, what annoys me is we have to work for our goals, and opposition aren't really having to work for their goals. That's where it's frustrating. But you know, you've got a right back playing at right centre back. You've got a left wing back playing at left centre back. You've got Iorfa playing at middle at 3 when really you'd like him right side of a 2 or right side of a 3. I mean, the only other alternative was to stick the young lad in there. We do look a bit short at back, but I think we've looked short at back for the last 2 years, if I'm honest with you, you know. We've got to get a centre half in, another centre half who, someone who can come in and do for us the sort of job that Aidan Flint did in that promotion year, you know, because he came in, you know, on a free, whatever. Colossus, you know, a man mountain, a beast, an experienced beast who just come in and said, yeah, I'll fucking head things all day, mate. Love it. You've got to have a natural defender, you know, not a winger doing a job, or not an attacking fullback doing a job, or a frustrated midfielder, but a proper centre half who wants to defend, who enjoys it. And you know, they do exist out there. There are them players who enjoy defending. They enjoy getting up and getting in a tussle. And well, Preston's got 3 of them. we need one. Like I said, somebody to come in and do that sort of job that Flint did, or funnily enough, actually, that Story did for this other season. Whether we can afford one's a different matter, you know. It might be a loan signing. A young kid on loan, maybe. I'd like somebody about 27, 28, you know, who's been around the block a bit, and like I said, somebody who wants to defend, because that game today is massively frustrating because we've played some good stuff. We've had plenty of shots, but I think we've had 17 shots today and they've made about 9 or 10 blocks. That's proper defending. That muck and nettles defending. Block, get your face in front of it, get your balls in front of it. That Hughes has made 3 or 4 brilliant blocks today just to stop crosses going in box. We allow crosses in box. We allow far too many crosses in box. Like I said, it's frustrating because overall, it's a decent display. Going forward, nice levels of control, played some decent stuff, you know, getting shots away. But like I said, we have to work for our goals. An opposition aren't having to work for theirs. I'm not totally down on it because, you know, we are a mid-table team. We are a mid-table team. You know, we're not going for title or out like that. So there's going to be games against other teams where, you know, we are going to lose. You accept that. It's just the nature of it, the frustrating, the easiness. And like I said, that Reece, he will have loved that today because he's not really had to do out for them 2 goals he scored, you know. And I'm sure Michael Smith or you know, Josh Windass would love to have goals like that where they can just stand in 6-yard box and just tap them on, you know. But we have to work for ours. That's where it's frustrating. We've got to strengthen it back this window. Like I said, I don't know what money we've got to spend. Is it 200 grand a week we're losing? Finances have been released this week. We've got to find a way, even if it means, you know, offloading somebody in a different position. You know, if we had bids for any of our forward or midfield players, I think you'd have to listen to offers if it meant that you could strengthen it back, because overall it's not a brilliant championship. You know, we've got 3 or 4 really decent teams up there. The rest of it, much of a muchness, as we've seen today with our defeat. We are heading in the right direction, but we've just got to get some proper defenders at centre half, you know, because it's really frustrating. And it's got to be frustrating for them kids, you know. I mean, I talked the other week about Valerie. I mean, there was a press conference. He looked so frustrated having to play in there, you know, and you could tell that. Lowe's having to do a job in there, and he's doing a decent job, to be fair. But again, I'm sure he'd much rather be at left back in position where he's played, you know, all his career. Which in turn would allow you to give Marv a breather, because, you know, he's 34 years old and he's looking tired. I don't know if he's had a bit of this flu, but he's looked really tired today. But he's 34 years old. He has to do 90 minutes every week in probably what's one of the most physically demanding roles you can have in a team as a wing back. You know, there's nobody in front of you, there's nobody behind it. It's really hard work, and he's 30 odd years old. It's a big ask, you know, and he's having to do that every week because our other left wing back's having to play centre half. We must reinforce that back line. Must. Man of the match. So it's frustrating after defeat to talk about man of match, innit? But man of the match. Well, I think my man of the match would be Barry Bannon. I think Windass has a really good game. On another day, probably walks away with an hat-trick, to be honest with you. Bit unlucky with some stuff today. But yeah, Charles and Bannon, I thought were really good today. Bannon, his passing, some of his vision today I thought were super. And especially in that first half, because like I said, when you've got insurance policy behind you, it allows Bannon to get that little bit higher up and doing cute stuff, in last third. So yeah, Bannon man of the match, but a hugely frustrating way to end the year, especially as I find Preston a bit niggly, and I would have really liked to have gone there and got something, but we're where we are, aren't we? We're where we are. I've had an hangover, and Wednesday's had an hangover.